Ho, 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 infidels going live back here, twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. I'm at Ben Hamin. I probably should be over at Hamin Media Group and streaming there. So unfortunately, clicked the wrong thing, but you're seeing us here. Day after Christmas, you've cleaned up all the wrapping paper. You've eaten all the cookies you can eat. You tried to get up and work out a little bit. But you know what? Today's the day to kick up your feet and just say, oh, it's finally over with. Let's move on. Let's get ready for 2021. And there's nobody else I'd rather be kicking my feet up with, having a few laughs, having a few drinks, than with my man, the Mama Merry Christmas, man beast. Yeah, pal.
Yeah, man, it's good just having a little chance to relax and chill. As you can tell, I'm not dressed up, in my usual garb with the button up and bow tie. We're just, shooting the breeze a little bit, enjoying some sociable libations. One of which I know you received as a gift, and so just excited to sit down and shoot the breeze, man. Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, it was a good time, man. And I know you and I kind of go in more for Halloween and Thanksgiving. That's what the wives and I enjoy. And Christmas, just being an atheist doesn't.
I was pitching to my wife, man. We were so late putting up our Christmas decorations, and we didn't really get a chance to. I felt like we put up our Halloween decorations late. I said, fuck it. Why don't we just leave Halloween up and leave it up through Christmas? But I got vetoed on that one. However, I did get a pop. So I think if I pitch it early enough next year, maybe we can work it out and piss all the neighbors off. We have a next door neighbor that's very particular about, hey, she encourages that you should put your Christmas decorations up because she puts all her stuff up. And then when it's time to take it down, though, she's ready like, are y'all going to take yours down? But I told her since we're late putting it up, when she starts bitching about taking them down, just tell her, well, we put them up late, so we want to make sure we get enough weeks out of it. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm on a schedule.
That's right.
Yeah, we didn't go crazy hog wild on the outside of the house, but the wives do it up nice. And we had a good time. Wife one got me a really high quality putting green, indoor putting green, and I'm going to take that over to referee Sideburns because we putt during Raw, so we'll start betting over there on Ivan Putski competition. And so that was pretty cool, and plenty of other.
Now, if I remember correctly, one Mike Mondo was a menace on the putting green, and that would seem to be his one advantage, especially when you all would go head to head. Is if that's true, then this may even the playing field, if not put it back into Hamin's advantage. So I'm interested to see.
Mike has a lot of advantage when we're on the green. He's shorter, so he's closer to the hole. He's much closer down than I am to it.
I almost got to spit out my drink.
And Mike also plays Long Island golf, where there's not a lot of room. We're up here in upstate New York, where Sideburns and a couple other bros, Modi and other bros play. My brother, dude, I mean, the par fours are like 450 yards, par fives 500. And the longest hole where Mondo plays, they call them pitch and putts. You don't even bring your driver. You just bring irons because the longest hole might be 180 yards. So up here, you got to have a fucking big swing game where we are. When Mike came up here and plays, like, holy shit, these fucking places are huge. That's all we got, Mike, is land to fucking make golf courses on. And he ain't used to hitting his driver every hole. Like up here, you might hit your iron to tee off once, maybe twice, because it's a water hole and it's a short hole. But everything else, you got to fucking Happy Gilmore that motherfucker to get her going. Yeah. So Happy Gilmore's a movie about golf.
I've seen that one. One of maybe four that I saw before 1999, but I have seen it.
But that's how it is. Holy shit, Sheik, you got to fucking spank the ball out here. He goes, but yeah, man, now it's on. Mondo's not going to have no advantage, and I'm coming for the title 2021.
Hell yeah. You heard it here first.
I see old Athers checking in from Boxing Day. Hopefully he's knocking somebody out. Greg Miron's in the house. Joe Raines back here. Our own El Plaja Armand's kicking it too. And Waylon Frederick, see him checking in on YouTube as well. Appreciate you guys. We just wanted to kick back. Did the one show, got to edit more today, do even a little bit more. But that's day after Christmas. Get back and work. I worked out hard. Slept like shit last night because I worked out hard after Christmas and did too much shoulders. I was just rolling all night. Rolling. That was me in bed last night. American sleepless asshole. So, I'm feeling it. So hopefully this whiskey takes a little edge off, puts a little warm blanket on me, and maybe I'll take a nappy here in the chair.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to. No sense in delaying. Although I did want to show it. Although maybe I
want to hear about your Christmas too. I don't want you to.
Oh, well, yeah, it was good. It was different. Usually I have a huge family, and we'll rent out. They're in town here. There's the Ohio Valley Volleyball Center, and literally they'll rent out the whole fucking place just because we don't have anyone's house big enough to hold the whole family. My mom had 10 brothers and sisters, and they all have kids, and half of them have kids. And so it just quite literally, there'll be young kids running around, and I don't know who the fuck they're related to, like as far as who they belong to.
Right.
But anyway, obviously because of COVID, a lot of my aunts and uncles already have a lot of comorbidities, a lot of health issues. So everyone just kind of did their own thing. But I'll be honest, I liked it a lot better than doing the big crazy thing. But I've never been big for, big gatherings anyway. Like instead of going out to a club with a lot of people, I'd rather stay inside and shoot the breeze and just kind of chill. And so it was a more chill, relaxed Christmas and kind of quiet, but it was, I thought, much more enjoyable, and got some nice little gifts. Got a nice little setup here to hopefully help. I haven't set it up yet, like with lighting and shit.
Oh,
I'm going to use the computer, but I'm going to set this up like behind the laptop and see how that works with, visuals.
I want to get one of those too. Absolutely.
My aunt's going to pay for me to get one of those nice new iPhones, whatever the new one is that has the big video processor. So I'm going to hopefully be using that for more video production pieces, and so that'll help with that as well. I need to still reach out to James Long to get his opinion, because I know he had said one of those phones is really good, especially. So I got to figure that out, or maybe I'll talk to Stevie. But and of course, got some nice things to drink as well. I don't have it with me right now. Maybe we'll do another episode where we drink some beer. But it's a California brand called, if I can say it, Lagunitas.
Oh, Lagunitas. Great.
Yeah, and they do this brand called Willetized, where basically, and it's hard to find. I've been trying to find it for a while and haven't been able to. We had a liquor store guy that would always hook us up, but he switched to a store on the other end of town, so we don't ever go. But my wife surprised me, went to the other end of town to see him, and he just happened to be working that day and hooked us up with a 4-pack of the Willetized. So basically, it's a coffee stout that they finish off in a rye whiskey barrel that Willet here in Kentucky distills, and they're one of the more premium, well-known. They're still kind of a small brand, but they do a really good rye whiskey. You've probably seen some of their bourbon that's it's in the weird circular thing.
I've had Willet at your place.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No,
it's really solid. It's good. So anyway, they finished the coffee stout in those barrels, and I already had one. It was really rich and it was intense. So it's definitely not for everybody. If you're just new to drinking that kind of stuff, you'd probably be too much. Like my wife hated it, absolutely hated it. So it was horrible. Didn't want anything to do with it, but I thought it was great. It had a lot of chocolate, a lot of rich. You could really taste the oak and the bourbon, and it was just really in your face, and the coffee as well. It was just really, really good.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you got a good little haul there, buddy. I actually today on Facebook, memories popped up 13 years ago. 13 years ago. I must have just joined Facebook at that time because MySpace was dying. It was me and Twink trying to push you over a cliff with Machine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, with Machine. I remember that. We survived, and it all ended up being okay in the end.
That was your first trip to the kingdom, man. That was a good time, bro.
That was an awesome time.
I got a shout out. I got new tiers over at patreon.com/Hamin Media Group. And the reason for the show today, well, not just the reason for the season, but official sponsor for me today is Double A Andrezen. Cheered $30 at the new demolition tier. Wow. And I took around, and what was this? 31? Yeah, $31.99 for a bottle of larceny. I'm not sure if that's good or not, but that's my
that's fair price. Definitely, yeah. I'd say it's fair.
I just wanted to say, for this show, that's a big thing. I want to give him a shout out because he sent me Rare Eagle, and this is just easier than him having to ship it and whatnot. And so I appreciate that kind of support, man. It's above and beyond, and I'm not asking anybody to do it, but I just wanted to make them aware. And also, Stranger's Alley, Jim Stranger ordered a $25 cameo today, so I'll be doing my first cameo for
nice,
for him.
Very nice.
And I got to take on All Elite Scooby Doo. That's my target. So,
all right. Well, best of luck. That's a tall order.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, dude, I got that, and another great gift. Obviously, you're talking and letting me know, because I mean, Triple D and the Academy podcast, they don't half-ass anything on Starfleet. So he gave me Tim Alberino's new book, Birthright. He had ordered 3 copies for himself, and I think one for GGP. Wow. So super excited for that. But also a Midwinter Night's Dream. I'm going to be checking.
Dram, actually.
Dram,
which is like a fancy word for like a drink or a pour. So it's a take on obviously the Shakespeare.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah, but
this is Act. Come on, catch.
Act 8.
Act 8, Scene 4. Yeah, Scene 4.
Dude, when you sent that, I couldn't believe it, because that's so hard to find. It's one that I had heard of, a few years back when they first started doing it, and got all these great reviews, and I could never find it. Even the liquor store guy I was telling you about, he said they only get them in like once a year, and they go quickly. And so finally, after a few years of looking, we were finally able to get one, and so I was really excited to see that you had that, because I even brought the one we have. It's a little different. It's Act 5, Scene 5, but same gimmick.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what you think, because I know classically you're not really as much into the rye whiskeys as much as the bourbon. But I think this particular, of course, I haven't had, granted, that particular barrel blend, but I imagine it's very similar to how the other ones drink, and that it's it has a lot of flavor, but it's not overly intense as far as it's not too in your face. I feel like with the spice of the rye, I feel like it has a lot of good depth of flavor. So I'm really curious to see what you think of it, especially being a guy that classically doesn't really get into rye as much.
Nah, I don't fuck around with sour mash and rye that much. I do have a nice little from Swiftwater, I believe, in Rochester. Nice,
very nice
little bar that has all their own craft beers there as well. So I had a good time with that. But yeah, man, I'm excited to try these out. And
yeah, I got another one as well. I'll try with y'all here. I got this for Christmas from the same thing, the liquor store guy. That's our friend. He actually went out to the distillery at Peerless and picked out this barrel along with members of the Louisville Bourbon Club. They have like an exclusive club here in town. I'm not a part of it, but basically they get together, every so often. I don't know if they're still doing it necessarily now with COVID, but they would get together every so often and enjoy all kinds of different bourbons. People would bring different bottles. But anyway, a few of those members went out and picked this out. So, I figured it would be pretty good. Between our liquor store guy has a pretty good palate himself, and not to mention the guys at Louisville Bourbon Club obviously know what's up, but it's a really solid pour. And I'm excited to have a little bit as well while we're here and just schmoozing and boozing a little bit.
Yeah, dude, it's been a good year, man. I mean, even with all the bullshit, it sucks not performing since March, but
yeah,
to have you and Silvio join and to see everybody leveling up.
Thank goodness for having this outlet, though, man. I mean, if we didn't have this, I don't know. I really think I would have gone crazy. I would have been put in a mental institution just because.
Luckily, is ahead of the fucking curve and getting it set up out of WrestleZone, and unfortunately, this pandemic is played right into more successful for content creators, you know what I mean? And thankfully I didn't have to do that groundwork now, because we wouldn't even be close to where we need to be getting the opportunities where we're going with you, with working with Rip. I'm going to call ODB probably tonight or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Well, maybe I'll call her drunk. She'd probably appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And, you'll probably be producing with them, and Matt's producing with Stevie Ray. And I'm just trying to get all of the players where everyone's going to be able to reap the benefit. And we're going to start working with Vito as well, developing stuff with him and Noel. So there's a lot of great opportunities that, even though 2020 sucked, since the last quarter, Hamin Media Group has been able to be prosperous and have growth, and maybe even be able to turn a profit in 2021. Wouldn't that be nice? But
from what I understand, reading a lot of these business books, and the truth is, most business ventures, a lot of times it does take a year or two to really kind of get going. I feel like we're finally on the cusp of turning that corner, like you said, being able to start becoming profitable, which is just going to be able to lead to us being able to do more cool things for our listeners and fans that have been following us since the beginning, and they're going to be here from the ground up, getting the first dibs at, the different guests and different shows and just different things we have in the pipeline coming down the way. So I'm excited for it.
Me too, man. There's things we don't even know yet or can't talk about yet either, but that's plenty what we hit you with as well. I appreciate old Athers joining the fold as well, man, and did great Christmas show, 4-hour special with all the producers. Greg Miron's been there since the beginning. I know a lot of you guys have since WrestleZone days, so salute you. We appreciate you. That loyalty and dedication is rewarded, I think, with as much free content as we can give away, and the community stuff, and just awesome efforts by everybody. So let's get to her, Beast. Let's see. I'm going to take a look here at Larceny. It's John E. Fitzgerald. I'm getting old here. I got to turn my flashlight on. I'm going to need one of those ring lights here. So Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, established 1870. It's small batch weeded bourbon mash bill. It's 46% alcohol, 92 proof. It is scored at 91 on the whiskey standards. Let's see here on the back. It says Johnny Fitzgerald's weakness was a fine bourbon. Well, I can't fault him for that. As a treasury agent who at the time was the only person legally allowed to carry keys to the rick houses, he gave in to temptation, freely taking from the best barrels in each rick house. Oh, that worker. Those that contain wheated bourbon made with wheat instead of traditional rye. These eventually became known as the distilleries as Fitzgerald barrels. Now, Larceny Bourbon honors both the superb taste of this lawless treasury agent and the legacy of the old Fitzgerald brand. I like that little story to go quantify. Yeah. I wasn't expecting that. So he's an old fucking liquor thief. That's what he was, boy.
And I'd say most people, at least in the U.S., could probably find Old Fitzgerald in most of their local liquor stores in the bourbon section. It's usually, lower tier kind of bourbon. So Larceny, represents obviously more of a higher tier bourbon and more of, in line with what I guess his special spot for bourbon was, wherever that was in the Rick House. Because I think because of just different areas inside the warehouse have different bits of temperature and different bits of humidity, and literally you'd think just a few feet of difference wouldn't make that much difference, but when it comes to sitting there for literally years and years and years, that ends up making a huge difference in how the ultimate flavor of each barrel comes out. And so I guess he found his particular sweet spots and took advantage of taking out those barrels for himself. So good for him.
Yeah. Well, I think they're called pipettes. That's what they call them in science anyway. But if you ever had one, it looks like your fucking grandma's big old dildo, a fucking big syringe that they stick down in there, and then they put their thumb over the end of it and it draws it up. And then they'll test it from there. But I'm sure he had one of them babies in just a big old fucking moonshine glass and was just walking around taking out of the best ones. And once he found the one he liked the best, boy, he probably fucking went to the well a couple times on that. If you don't know what a rick house is, they're made out of wood mainly. They have aluminum siding, but it's a place where bourbon barrels are stacked on top of each other in very high scaffolding and very old wood that's molded almost. It's moldy, it's musty in there. You're walking on pallet trails in between these big huge shelves that house these huge casks, these charred barrels of bourbon that'll sit there for 6 to 12 years, most of them. I think to be our official bourbon, you have to be like 4 to 6 years, doesn't it? Like
I think 2 is what or call it any kind of bourbon, and then if it's straight bourbon, like if it's considered straight bourbon whiskey, then it has to be at least 4 years or something like that. I think it can be bourbon at 2, but if you want at least straight bourbon, because if you want to at least have that 4 years, in my opinion, otherwise you're going to get more of that kind of really alcohol type flavor and less of the wood, the oak, and the stuff that really makes bourbon. Bourbon.
White Dog or White Lightning is just like drinking fucking. You might as well go drink some fucking hand sanitizer. It's put some whip
right.
Or some straight fucking alcohol. Like, I've been in Wild Turkey and Evan Williams Rick houses, and they're both, I thought maybe Wild Turkeys were just run down, but no, they're supposed to feel old and shitty inside. It feels like you walked into, it's dark in there. Like legit, there's barrels 12 stacked high, which is like 40, 50 feet. Some of these fucking things, you're like, if one of these let go of these old timbers, we're all going to fucking get killed and they have pictures.
Oh yeah. And definitely get killed. I mean, one barrel could fucking kill you. The weight of those things. I mean, even if they're empty, they can be managed to pick up by a person when they're empty, but when they're full, I mean, you have to have special devices to be able to remove them and rotate them and all the stuff they need to do to process the bourbon.
There was pictures at Wild Turkey. I can't remember if it was a bad storm or what have you, had them rocking and rolling and the wind came through and tipped one over and the whole side wall came down and these barrels, just 10, 12-year whiskeys, like just smashed down onto the ground and, like just flowing down the hillside. They had old pictures from, I think that was like 1950s that happened.
Yeah. And I think it was either this year or last year, there was not as dramatic of an incident because it didn't catch on fire and shit, but there was a rick house, I think, for Buffalo Trace that just collapsed. Like, I guess it hadn't been kept up properly. And I was like, man, how sad. Like all that bourbon just, from what I understood, I don't think it was like Pappy or anything, but I forget what it was. I think it was one of the more higher end bourbons that they had. And I was like, man, that's how devastating to lose all that.
Is it just bad upkeep, or is that moldy part of the rick house, that musty, does that really give the bourbon a flavor? It seems like they'd want beautiful timbers with fucking, nice fasteners and fucking everything's labeled and it's a beautiful walkthrough. Like when you go to like Wild Turkey or even any of these ones that are nice tours, the rick houses always seem to be shitty. I don't know if that's on purpose for the darkness and the mold or the mustiness or what have you.
I know the darkness and that, that's purposeful, but I don't know about, necessarily the mold and everything. I know that some of the newer distilleries like out in Shelbyville, they have a Jepta Creed, they're still, or rick houses don't seem, of course, they're a newer distillery though. They're not nearly as run down. I don't know. Part of it is just, it's cost efficient because these rick houses were built just decades ago. And, and I'm sure probably some places do much better with the upkeep on them than others, but obviously based on what happened last year with that one rick house, not all of them are necessarily, kept up in the same.
They're all fucking drunk over there. They're all drunk.
Can't blame them.
No. So, let's see here. I've tapped this larceny, so I've been on it a little bit here. We got on her.
Yeah, and I got a little bit myself. I'll read mine. Mine's not nearly as long, but I have the single barrel from Peerless. This is Kentucky straight rye whiskey. And the story here just says distilled and bottled in the Louisville Bourbon District. This Kentucky aged single barrel of Peerless straight rye whiskey stands alone with its rich and mellow tastes. And this is it says non-chill filtered, strictly sweet mash, barrel proof, no water added. Selected by, like I said, the Louisville Bourbon Club, as well as Evergreen Liquors here in town. And it's 114 proof. So this is definitely going to be a bit of a stinger here.
I was going to say, that's going to be the old Dale stinger. So
one of the gifts I did get, now, although I should have gotten one of those out. I might have to run to the kitchen here in a minute. I got one of those big ice cube makers. And I found the one that I got this time is silicone, and it does much better with not cracking. I used to have the plastic ones, and no matter what, it always cracked. But I also read that waiting a couple minutes before you open it is the key to it. So I had this on one of those big ice cubes the other day. It kind of slowly lets it, kind of proof down the bourbon as I sipped on it throughout, better part of 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, I hope so. 114's a hot take, buddy. Holy shit.
Yeah, and you could smell it right out the gate.
I gotta tell you, if you're on the cork sniff on the larceny, really, really nice, dude.
And I'd have to say the same for the Peerless. Now, I'll say smelling it from the glass versus the cork's very different. I get more of a sweet smell on the cork and more of, you can tell it's a barrel proof on the glass.
This is definitely super sweet. And like I say, it isn't nearly as, that's a deep one. That could have been a mistake right there. That could have been a mistake, boys.
Looking at the camera, actually, I didn't realize I really like the color on it too.
I like this too.
I like that color too. Yeah, it's kind of got a reddish hue to it.
Yeah,
which I really like. I am a big fan of larceny. It's a solid bourbon. Have you had larceny before? Or is this your first time?
Until the night before Christmas.
Gotcha.
Oh shit.
Well, cheers.
Well, here's to you, Hamin Media Group. Hamin's holiday happy hour.
Woo. Yeah, give me 1 minute. I'm going to get the ice cube because that just obliterated my taste buds. But I will say I still get a lot of really good spice on the palate. That's still good. It's not just alcohol. I will say that. It's not just like, oh, fuck, it's just about, it drinks hot, but I get a lot of flavor with it too. What about you on right away? What do you get with the larceny?
This is definitely sweet, and it doesn't come on hard at the end to punch you, but it definitely has got a nice, like, little Care Bear's warming touch on your.
Yeah, I'm getting that too. I like the Care Bear. I feel like Tender Heart right now.
But the chew on it isn't really deep, but I kind of like that. And I don't know what they call this in whiskey. I've tried this, had this other couple, but it's almost got like a waterfall effect, like a little water effect as it separates in your mouth. It almost is like drinking from a fountain. I don't know if that's in my mind. I've had that, and this has got that. It's got like a little trickle effect at the end. And I like that, to be honest with you. And so
I wonder if it's not so much water as if like if your salivary glands are starting to produce fluid, there's an enzyme in there. It's called amylase, and it helps break down the stuff that we eat.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's something like that happening, like from a chemical standpoint. I don't know. I'm literally
have the bourbon taste in my mouth, and then all of a sudden, it's just like a drip or two of water on the back end of it. Like I feel it in my mouth, so it could be that, and how it's breaking it down. But some of them can't do that in the higher end. Maybe there's more alcohol in it, but I really like this. I like 86 to 92 proofs. That's my range.
Or maybe because it's a wheated bourbon and there's more of that in the mash bill, maybe that causes your body to have that effect. I don't know. I will say, whenever you get a chance to come down here, I'll be curious for you to try. And this was a hard one to find too. At the place down here called Westport Whiskey and Wine, which if anyone comes to Louisville, I highly recommend. I think they have the best single barrel picks in town. Although I'd say Evergreen Liquors is right up there too. But anyway,
you got worked on that one because your wife talked to my wife to be like, Rach wants to know which bourbon to pick out for Hamin. Can you recommend one? And then you recommended one, and she got it for you. So we worked you.
You son of a
you got worked in your own Christmas gift.
It shocked me. But what I was getting at is so they have a treasure sale every year where they take all the allocated bourbons that are rare, and instead of doing it to where as long as you know someone, it's behind the counter, they'll hook you up, which, there's something to be said for loyalty to a liquor store, and I can get that, but it's when they, price gouge otherwise that I have an issue with it. But I like the way they do it, and that once a year, everybody knows you just show up early, you get in line, and you can get one of the allocated bottles. But anyway, I got a bottle of their barrel proof larceny. And so I'd be curious. I know, you're not as into the barrel proof, but I'm curious if you tried it and had it proofed down.
Barrel proof is, I mean, like that's like a 110, right? Before they blend it.
I'll have to check. I am going to get myself a little ice cube, and I have the bottle in the other room. I'll check it while I'm there. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Be right back.
What he's talking about though is, and when it comes out of a single barrel like that, that's going to be what the proof is: 108, 110. They don't fuck with it, no matter how hot it is. Most bourbons that'll come from a Wild Turkey or a Jim Beam or a wherever, Evan Williams, are going to be a blend of 6 and 8 year whiskey. Sometimes they even put 4. They'll take a 4 and an 8 year and blend it together. I think 6 to 8 years, 6 to 10 is fucking where you want to be for the best of the best. Like if you drink some 4-year whiskey, it's got some whip on it, and that's what you want to put with your Jack and Coke, And I don't like Jack Daniels that much because of that charcoal filtering. I don't think the taste, I don't know, it does something to it. I'm a Kentucky whiskey man, not Tennessee, but I do have a bottle again from Top Shelf Dimitri that I'm waiting until I get to hang out with Russo and Stevie to a show. It's the Frank Sinatra. Holy shit, he's got the whole gimmick. He's getting fucking torn up tonight, boys. He's fucking tearing one on tonight, boys.
What now?
I said he's gonna fucking put one on tonight, boys. He's putting a fucking header on tonight.
Well, I wanted to. I'm going to illustrate one of those silly, weird things that I do, but something that I feel like is still kind of cool. And whenever we finally can open up things back to normal, I want to start doing the schmoozing and boozing show again and do it properly. But I want to be able to have guests and try different bourbons and whiskeys and liquors and all kinds of different stuff. But anyway, this is the barrel proof one. It was 114.8 proof, so it would be pretty hot. That's the barrel proof larceny. But every time I get a new bottle of bourbon, I do what I call, or what some call, archiving. Oh, that's what I do here. And I get these little 2-ounce Boston Round bottles, and I'll fill them up with 2 ounces of every bottle that I get. Cause I love at some point to be able to go back and revisit some of these. Cause I just like to suck them down half the time. But I at one point would say, it'd be really cool to go back and say, oh yeah, what was that like? And so one day, whenever you come down here, Ben, we'll do a special episode. We'll go through some of these.
I think I need to do that too. To be honest with you, I got to get them bottles.
Yeah, it's not too expensive. You can get on Amazon. They're just called 2-ounce Boston Round bottles. And literally, the very first pour, and I have just a little funnel thing. I'll pour 2 ounces in a side bottle, and then I'll just store it in a little shelf in my office. So
I love it.
It's pretty cool. At least I think. It's one of the little nerd things I do, but it's fun. And whenever we do get a chance to sit down, and hopefully whenever you're back in town down here, we'll record some episodes. It'll be cool to sit down and do that.
Disco Swayze on that Henny and Hypnotic doing that training.
You know what? I'd be really interested in revisit. I haven't had Hennessy since before I really got into any of that. I'd be interested in revisiting it and just seeing what it's like compared to the different bourbons that I drink.
Dude, last time I got tore up on a Henny was on the fucking Frio video shoot, bro. All these rappers over there, that's all they wanted to drink was fucking Hendo, and they had the red cups. They were pouring fucking quad shots, man. We're in the fucking kitchen shooting the blunt scene, and there's just crazy Henny. My chest burns thinking about it.
Really? So it's pretty hardcore. I only thought it was like 80 proof.
It's got some fucking stank on it. And Hypnotic, that's actually bottled at Evan Williams. They
yeah, that's right.
They do all that there.
Yeah, Evan Williams has a lot of brands, and Evan Williams, I think, is actually underneath Heaven Hill, I believe.
Yeah.
Which owns all those different brands. Yeah, they have a lot of different ones under that. Actually, I want to say Bernheim, I think, is even under that, which we had last time we did one of these.
I think so.
They have some of the most brands under one roof, but I mean, you can't say something like a lot of their brands are pretty high quality. Some of them, maybe not so much. I think they do Fireball also, but there's some people that love that, and it's just whatever you like.
Well, I mean, if you're in the South, you got a fucking high level of mint julep drinkers and bourbon lovers all the way down to fucking NASCAR drinking Fireball and Bud Lights all goddamn day. You know what I mean? There's something to be said for both.
True. Although I'll say the Costco that I frequent, I've noticed that you can tell that they don't have as much of those people, because they used to stock Fireball and stuff like that all the time. And you can tell now, like, they don't have Fireball anymore. They don't have a lot of those other kind of brands. So they've kind of switched, which is kind of cool though, because then it makes room for other things. So if there's a Costco in town, that's the best place to go for a good deal on liquor in general.
I poured this fucker deep. I'm here to tell you right now.
It is kind of cool though, huh? This little silicone cube. You just literally, it has a hole in the top. You just hook it together, pour it up until it fills the top, and then just sit in the freezer. So I got the top popped off. I just can't get it to come out now. Popped off.
I haven't talked to Jay. I talked to Deeb last night and this morning, so it was good. She got some pretty cool custom shoes to match her jacket and stuff like that.
Hell yeah. Are they done taping for the year?
I think so. But she's got new biz, so we gotta talk.
Yeah, I heard about that. I haven't seen it yet. I need to go back and watch.
Yeah, he wasn't on this week's show. But
I feel all fancy now. Hell yeah!
Open it up, all right.
Oh yeah, I like it. I mean, it's still drinking very hot, but it has a lot of good flavor to it. I would say I don't think you would like this one as much, though, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I just I don't know. Once, because making Manhattans my whole childhood at camp for those guys started with that 86 Wild Turkey, and when you got a cold or whatever, they give you a spoonful of that. But I remember once they kicked up to that fucking high octane Wild Turkey, that's one. Yeah, it just don't blend as well. It doesn't drink as well, and for the fucking difference of 14 proof, and that's all they used to drink, and then they started switching it up to Evo, and then from there it was Crown Royal shots, which I love Crown Royal, but the price around here is right out of this fucking world. So not working Canada which sucks because on the way back, the bottle of Crown Royal here is $49 at the border. It's $27 at the border, $25.99. So, and they had everything there. So I'm not going to Canada. I'm not really drinking the Crown as much anymore.
Next time you're down here, you'll got to grab some Crown. Go back to, I'm just a nerd for Costco. I think for $40, you can get a 1.75 liter, one of the big boys. So you can set yourself up, to have for a little longer.
Yeah. The price went right out of this fucking world. Oh, let me see. Jeez.
That is crazy.
Hey, how's it going?
Kentucky.
You got the Kentucky? Okay, I'm on with Man Beast right now. We're drinking some whiskey.
What up?
Hey, who's that?
Rachel. She just got the Kentucky.
Oh, hell yeah. Welcome to Kentucky. Welcome back.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's crazy. People drive like psychos.
Yeah, it was shitty going through Ohio or no?
Buffalo was terrible, but no, Ohio was fine.
Right on. All right. Well, you're good then. Just go hang out, have fun, say what's up to Will, take some pictures.
You will.
All right. I'm gonna jump off. I'll holler at you a little later tonight. All right.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye. Love you. Y'all, wife 144. Sorry, where was I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I just
we were talking I don't even remember.
Just talking about hot wild turkey, I think. And
I do like wild turkey in general though. It's a solid bourbon.
Their rare breed, I think, is their best. That's
interesting because that is their barrel proof bourbon. They have that at Costco for $40 as well. I almost got that the other day.
It was $100 a bottle when it first came out.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, it's barrel proof. That's hard to find. You know what I mean? It's something to be said. I was surprised even Costco was able to get theirs that low because even at most retail, you're paying at least, I think, $60 for it.
Well, I think the original rare breed, when they first released it, came in like a box and it fucking was labeled per batch. Now it's kind of just in a bottle called rare breed. And I think they just leave a hot bourbon. It's not what it used to be. Not like it's shitty, but I'm just saying it's not the marketing ploy it was when it first came out. So
I will say, just to plug the Discord real quick, we have a cool chat room in there, which honestly I didn't even realize till K-Bob smartened me up. But we were talking in there, and K-Bob had a really cool bottle I'll share with those watching here. He has the Wild Turkey bottled in bond. Can't remember what other. I think this maybe the Diamond edition or something like that. But it's one of the cool special bottles K-Bob was showing off in the
that's nice
group there. So definitely, if you're not a part of that and you like talking, bourbon, liquor, beer, whatever, join us on the Schmoozing and Boozing in the Discord. I'll try to put it in the comment and on YouTube on the links below once we're done here. But it's a lot of fun. Looks like some other people. Looks like Plaja is having himself a good drink as well. It's kind of fun if people join us drinking. They can post their pictures. Looks like he's having himself a nice little dry martini, or I'm sorry, no, a dirty martini, I guess, but it has olive juice, which. You know what? I haven't had a good martini in a while. I used to really like those.
Yeah, I like once in a while too. Not too crazy about them, but that's a nice little collection there, man.
I will say I've kind of fallen out of it, but for a good 6 to 10 months or so, I was actually really getting into gin a little bit. And there's a couple small distilleries here that would blend their own gins. There was one that we had at Copper and Kings. They had a barrel proof gin that they finished off in a brandy barrel. And that was really good. It kind of gave a little sweetness to it. Cause you kind of got that big kind of juniper flavor in that. And sometimes people really don't like that, but it kind of mellowed it down a little bit. And it was really good. I liked it a lot.
There's a place up here. It's got a nice little one. Their distillery is very cool just to see just a single room with one distiller in it where they make it from apples. It's big up here, but I'll tell you, it was like sucking Bigfoot's dick. It was a fucking whip on it. Nothing you just want to sip it and go, oh, that's fucking delicious. It was oof.
I'd be actually, speaking of Copper and Kings, I'd be curious about your thoughts on them. I'll say if anyone comes through Louisville, it's not bourbon, but they make some really high quality stuff. Brandy is what they're known for, but they also have some gin. If you're into absinthe, which I'll be honest, I'm not, but they make their own absinthe over there, and a couple other niche things. They do different experiments in different barrels. Like if you show up on whatever day, they'll have 4 barrels of some kind of experimental liquor, and you can bottle it yourself and sign it and everything. It's kind of a cool experience. And for like, I think it's $50-$60, and it's like, to me, it's worth it for handcrafted liquor that is high quality. And it's just a kind of a cool distillery too to check out, because it's a different process than bourbon a little bit.
You never thought about just being a bootleg and I mean, I know where you live, so you couldn't do it where you are, but aside from doing a stovetop still, my cousin did that, and he made a beautiful bourbon, but then he not fucked it up, but he put vanilla flavor in it, and it became like a vanilla bourbon. And you know what it was good on? If you took a fucking maybe, but I put it over ice cream, so pretty much the same thing. Just took a little caramel sauce and then mixed it in with that. It was fucking slam over ice cream. But to drink it, you could do one shot, but you weren't going to want to keep drinking it all night. But you ever think about doing that? A little stovetop distill, and then put some what he did to get the color, he just got oak chips, charred them, they burned them, and then threw them right in the
speed up the process, and then you can strain it out at the end.
Exactly.
Well, we've been playing around with like what we would do is like we would get one of those mini barrels, and we would put like, just whatever, more of a lower end bourbon, but still straight Kentucky bourbon, and let it age in those little barrels. And because the surface area is so much more, because it's smaller, you end up aging it more quickly. And so that was fun to play around with the flavors. We got a little bit of a bigger barrel, but I would love to distill my own stuff. We live in this very glamorous skyrise condo, but it just doesn't lend itself to having enough room to do something like that. But
we need a creek where we're out there by the creek making it and fucking running from the law. We need to do all that. That's
yeah. Well, but we have been talking, probably the next year or two, we probably are going to move out and get a bigger place. So perhaps when that comes around, that is something I definitely would love to do, is to be able to just age my own stuff, even if it's just, making, shine or whatever. I think it'd be fun. I had an uncle that did that, and it just seems like it'd be fun to play around with different flavors and things like I'm a nerd for that anyway. I love trying different flavors and different things. Whenever I go to a restaurant, I always like to go to somewhere different. And if I have to go to somewhere the same, I'll always pick out something different. I try, if I can help it, never to get the same thing twice, which some people think I'm crazy. Like, you just don't have a hamburger or something that you really love to go back to. It's like, nope, if I could try something different, I always like to try. To me, the variety is the spice of life, and that's the fun of trying things.
No, you love it. You love it.
I live for it.
You're meticulous.
I love doing this and trying the different bourbons. Like I hate when people ask me what's your favorite bourbon. It's like, it's hard to say, because I like to try something different. So I like lead towards different distilleries. Like Wild Turkey is one I recommend. I think Willet is another one that has some pretty good stuff. I mean, it's hard though, because I'd say most major distilleries have at least something of good quality. So it's hard to pick out
fucking nuts for Maker's Mark. I just don't ever try it, and I'm never like, this
is okay. Now their private selection series, which is a little more pricey, is some of those are excellent. They're amazing. But again, you're paying more premium prices, like $70-$80 for a bottle, and it's a lot to spend for just a chance that maybe you'll like it. You know what I mean? Because all the barrels are different.
TGY TV Tim Gilby says there's no whiskey, but I started making meat.
That's interesting.
I've done beer and I've done wine kits, and I had one go bad on me that got oxidized, but everything else I've made from kits at home. And my brother and I got into it for a while with the beer, but then we switched to wine. You don't got to boil nothing, it's just a kit. Boy, They came out really great. I made the wine for Rachel's sister's wedding, and it was
did you say you made the labels too and bottled it yourself? That's awesome. What a great wedding or present or gift. Like, that's something throughout the year that's nice and makes it to where you don't have to go out and find something.
If it was, people enjoyed it, because I'll tell you what, because of the quality and the taste. For you got a bunch of bridesmaids and you crack open some green apple Riesling, it was fucking phenomenal. It was the perfect wedding wine. And I'm telling you, if you want to spend, I think the kit was only like $40. And if you got the buckets and stuff to make it at home and put it together, and man, it was just one of the best things I'd ever made, for sure. So I think everybody should be learning how to do it. It's fun, especially when in the beer process, or when the fermentation is going and you hear it bubbling and all that shit, and it's going off. And some of them, have so much yeast that they'll actually blow out the top the first 2 or 3 days. So you got to keep an eye on it all. But it's fun to do those processes. And then in the end, when you're finally bottling, which sucks, is that's the shitty part, and cleaning the bottles and sterilizing everything. But then when you take that first sip and it's fucking better than anything you've had in the store, wow, it's such a feeling of accomplishment. And then to see everybody else enjoying it at the wedding was one of the best things.
That's cool. Yeah. And to me, that's not to in a weird way. That's I can feel that same appreciation. It's kind of like when in wrestling, it is awesome to go out there and perform, but there's also that enjoyment of helping put something together and watching it unfold beautifully and just having it's a different kind of satisfaction, but it feels really good to say, I helped make this and it came out really good. I can see it, even though it's very different, still a similar type of satisfaction of, you were able to take something and put it out there and people enjoyed it, and that's pretty cool.
It made the moment, it was right on time. People had gotten there from the reception. It was in that, that meat packing industry that they part of town in Louisville that they redid into like the art park.
Yes, which is kind of, and it always breaks my heart to hear about that. Not because, I eat animals, but it's more so the placing of it. A lot of people don't know the meat processing plant is literally right by the orphanage here in town. And I remember volunteering for the orphanage and the kids saying how horrible it was because they can hear the pigs fucking screaming over there. And I'm like, Jesus.
Oh, really?
I was like, that's something that is at some point, I feel like they have to relocate, not the meat packing people, but they got to relocate those kids. Cause that's it's terrible to be in such that situation. And then have to hear that on an almost nightly basis. Like I can imagine.
Well, this is the old one that they refurbished into all new offices and all that. It's like
okay.
Art park over there.
The Melwood Art Center.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where we were. That's where we had the whole reception and everything. So people had gotten over there and they were ready to drink and just started pouring, man. And it was good times. You got how much you got left on that one?
I'm pretty much done.
All right, get it in you. Oh, good stuff, man. All right, I'm gonna. Ooh, I heard that one. Oh, now this is. I don't know about this one. This one smells like the wife's panties a little bit.
Well, doesn't it depend on what day of the month it is?
See what it tastes like. I don't know.
And I'll be honest, I don't have much of a cork smell. I've had this bottle. Now, to be fair, I hope it isn't oxidized. I've had this bottle sitting around for a while. They can tell, let it go down the last drop, although I do have an archived 2 ounce.
But I'm even smelling out of the bottle. It's not super strong. It's got a little Christmas tree smell to it.
Yeah, and I do get a little more smell from the bottle than the cork. I don't almost get anything from the cork.
I'm going to go light on this one.
Yeah, and I don't need the ice for this. It's I don't know what your proof is. The one on mine is 49.3% alcohol by volume or 98.6 proof.
Let's take a look here.
It's on the very bottom on my
blind. 49.3, 98.6. Yep. Let me read on the back here. It says, "Are you sure that we're awake? It seems to me that yet we sleep, we dream." Demetrius, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 4, Scene 1, William Shakespeare. I actually, side note, I played Bottom and also won the Shakespeare competition doing the Bottom's Dream monologue from there. Greetings, good gentles and ladies, or gents and ladies. At High West, we consider whiskey an independent part of making it through the long, cold winter. I agree. One taste of an indispensable part of making it through a long, cold winter. One taste of a midwinter's night's dream alongside a cozy fire will surely transport you to a dreamlike state. This limited release whiskey is a sumptuous marriage of dreamlike state. This limited release I just read that. Dreamlike state. Our rendezvous rye finishes in a French oak port barrels. The rye forms a beautiful base of vanilla, caramel, and cinnamon. The port barrels made from French oak enhanced with notes of plum, dried fruit, and provides a spice accent. For us, Midwinter Night's Dream tastes like a proper Christmas plum pudding with lovely mulling spices, dried fruits, and creme anglaise. And then another quote, "Swift as the shadow, short as the dream, brief as the lightning in the collided night. from Lysander, Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 1, Scene 1. Lysander describes how quickly true love can vanish. This is how we feel about a dram of this whiskey. However, if you savor it slowly, we can attest that Midwinter Night's Dram will help you through the coldest night. Master Distiller Brennan Coyle and founder David Perkins. Not chill filtered, no coloring or flavoring added. High West home is historic Old Town Park City and the world's ski-in gastro distillery, a Midwinter Night's Dream.
The only ski-in gastro distillery. Interesting. So I guess you can ski in there and get yourself some whiskey. I also like at the very bottom in small letters, it says the front label was totally plagiarized from the first quarto edition of a Midsummer Night's Dream, printed in 1600. So that front part of the label was totally plagiarized, which at least they admit to. It's kind of neat. I like it's called a limited, instead of being a single barrel or, a limited release, they call it a limited engagement.
I like that. You got that. For a limited.
And I'll tell you, I love the texture on the bottle too.
Yeah.
It's not like your traditional round bottle. Like it has a little more character to it.
And there's something on it. I don't see what that is.
It feels like it's like handmade. It's
High West Distillery on it, and then mine's got a horseshoe that says High West on there.
Yeah, High West Distillery. That's who makes it. And I'll say they make some pretty good other bourbons. There's another one I have. It's called Yippee-Ki-Yay, and it's a whiskey that they finish off in gin barrels, and it's a very unique flavor. But I've actually used that one on some martinis instead of gin, and they actually turned out really, really good. So High West makes some interesting stuff, and they do it a little differently. They experiment more with different types of flavorings and barrels and finishes. And whoever the master distiller is does a really good job coming up with these different flavor combinations, whereas most rely more on the age of the oak and the conditions of how it's aged over time. But for this distillery, they seem more interested in the mash bill and how they finish it off and accentuate the different flavors within it. So it's just a different approach to whiskey, which I still appreciate. I think there's still an art to it. It's a little different than just traditionally, the way whiskey necessarily that we think of how it's traditionally crafted. If that makes sense. Like this is a blend of rye whiskeys being rather than being a single barrel or anything like that.
Dogs of War going off as random Amazon packages arrive. So those
and so the gimmick with this, it's a blend of rye whiskey that they finish off in French oak port barrels, and that's where they get the different. I guess that's where it gets more of the smooth characteristic, or at least what I consider a smooth characteristic. Last time I had,
the last gift from Triple D, that Blood Oath, was just unbelievable to finish in the. What type of barrel? Cognac barrels. That was just phenomenal. But this doesn't have a very.
Yeah, see, I'm not getting a lot of smell on mine either. Very, very light, and maybe a little bit of fruitiness.
This is almost perfumey, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. It is almost that way.
Yeah, I don't hate it by any means, but it's
definitely get a little bit of that port wine in there. At least I do.
I agree.
I think that brings down the spice from the rye.
It's got that plum flavor.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, plum. I didn't think about that, but yeah, it does have plum, which is interesting for a whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which must be from the port, but it is interesting. I forgot how kind of just unique this profile was, because it is not like any other whiskey I can remember anyway.
It's big on the tongue and doesn't punch you in the chest afterwards. There isn't no Care Bear death touch on this. No,
agree.
Here, there's just a big mouthful of flavor.
I get a little warmness in the throat, but it doesn't come down the chest.
Nope.
Yeah,
it pretty much ends up high. So if the big burn isn't for you, then this could be right on time. But there's a lot going on in here. There definitely is, and it's all in your mouth and not in your chest.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I forgot how much I like this one. I'll say it drinks similarly, although some people might get mad at the comparison, but to me it drinks similarly, and I take this as a positive, as a better version of like an Angel's Envy, which is a bourbon they do in port barrels that they finish in port barrels here in town. It's the cool one that you may have seen in the liquor store, has little angel wings, and it kind of comes around in almost like a extended oval type shape. But yeah, it's good. I like this one a lot.
Oh, we got quick run-in. Zicky Dice workers in the house. Looks like our Bolin came in with them, checking things out. Hopefully you guys had a good Christmas, man. Y'all from Worker Brothers all over the world. We're just doing a little holiday cheer, checking out some bourbons that we got as gifts. I did Larceny, and we both have this midwinter's
Knight's Dram.
Knight's Dram.
I got a Peerless here.
But yeah, hopefully you guys get everything you want in 2021, and all the bookings and the envelopes are fatter.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we can really hope for, right, man? And to get back to business. So hopefully you're creating some good stuff. You got some great ideas for yourself, man. And if there's anything we can do to collaborate down the road, please let us know. That's what we're here for, free media, and to talk about wrestling the way it's supposed to be and do fun shows like this, So if you who knows, maybe Zicky's a bourbon enthusiast as well.
Yeah. Love to have him on sometime.
He's a hell of a performer. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beast, I like it. I think I'm gonna start doing what you're doing and put away those 2 ounces, because I can go at a bottle too. Even like that Blood Oath, I tore through that because it was so good.
Yeah, it's hard when you got a really good bottle.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest with you. I like the Larceny as a kick in the chest for some reason. Maybe that's just the classic bourbon.
Right. And like we said before, you are generally more like more of the bourbon profile than the rye necessarily. It seems like you probably like the rye, but it sounds like Larceny is more along the lines of what you're looking for when you're reaching for a good glass of whiskey.
Our Bolin says he likes that ouzo. That's just that flavor, or that anisette flavor, black licorice. I think
I had it a long time ago. Yeah, I'm not into that. Like stuff like Jägermeister, Goldschlager, or Absinthe is found as a similar profile. Or, yeah, anything that has that kind of like licorice taste.
Goldschlager's good in drinks. Like if you're doing them girly shots, and I haven't done these in years, but they can mix that with what do you call it, Bailey's, and a little butterscotch schnapps, and it tastes just like a fucking oatmeal cookie. Like if you mix a third.
It sounds horrible, but if at some point it comes around to it, I'll try it. We'll do it on the show. Maybe I'll get the ingredients and.
Yeah, dude, grandma's cookies. You'll be tossing grandma's cookies after you fucking have too many of them. But just a little Bailey's, a little butter scotch schnapps, and that fucking Schlager, man. Oh, I remember loving those in college and puking all over my fucking pillow. It was a good time.
No, good times.
Tequila guys out there too. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I've had some pretty high shelf tequilas and they go down easy, but I also like to drink a shot of shitty tequila before we go golfing with referee sideburns, because it helps me gain an edge on them. So I try and find the shitty.
I will say I've came to really appreciate tequilas as well, and I'd love to at some point sit down and have a good one with you. I think you would be more into what's called, I think, the either the añejos or the reposados are the ones that they age for a little bit in barrels, versus the silver tequila that a lot of people, might mix in like a margarita or something.
I like the El Rudos. Those are my favorite tequila.
Yeah. But there's actually one I really like. Wait, was that a rib on me?
That was Luchador.
Oh yeah, well there is the Rudo one we had in not Syracuse, Sarasota. But I will say I've got a little bit in tequila. I mean, it's sometimes hard to come by the nicer ones here in Louisville, but there's some decent ones. There's one that I really like. It's not too expensive. It's called Hornitos, and they do one called a black barrel tequila that they finish off in bourbon barrels. And it's really good. You can get it for about $20 here. I think it's a really solid bottle of tequila.
Nice. Yeah, I've had the top end Patrons and shit that they make in the small.
I will say just for fun, I usually do gravitate towards bourbon, but I wanted to get a nicer bottle. So usually we'll have a 1.75, like a big bottle. We'll go through. It'll take us about 2 or 3 weeks to go through, and I usually get a big bottle of bourbon. But I decided to switch it up for Christmas week just to splurge a little bit, and I got one of the big 1.75s of Patron Silver. So
nice.
Maybe next time we get together, I'll pour. I can't mix whiskey with tequila, but.
Why would you? Fuck no. Oof.
Yeah, no way. But maybe next time we get together, if you enjoy a couple of whiskeys, I'll get a couple of the tequilas I have, because I have a couple of different interesting ones that might be fun to try, and maybe we'll do that.
What you need to do is get that in a set of golf clubs, and then we're going to start tearing shit down.
Oh, yeah. As long as it's not like that one shot that I took where literally this was like the second time I ever golfed in my life. And it was maybe the third hole we were on, and with the swing, with all my might, except I didn't have the grip that I was looking for. And I'm pretty sure the club went soaring across further than the ball did across the green.
Yeah.
And Armando just lost it laughing. Because I laughed too. You have to laugh. It was ridiculous.
Dude, that for your first time golfing, you fucking did phenomenal, bro. Like phenomenal for your first time. And that course was a PGA level course. I'd never played sand traps like that, dude. Those sand traps were fucking
huge.
Yeah, they were 40 yards long and fucking 20 yards deep. Like it was ridiculous, like nothing you'd ever seen before. So no, that was a great time with Mike.
I give all credit to doing the one thing that we preach about here over and over and over again. I didn't know golf. I know you knew golf, so I did what I knew to do, and that was shut the fuck up and just listen. And I'll listen to your mechanics, and I think also being a physical therapist and knowing body mechanics, I think that was helpful as well. But I just listened to the cues you gave me and did it to the best of my abilities. Granted, I didn't, shoot like a Tiger Woods or anything, but for my second time golfing, I felt like I
no, fuck that, dude. You were hitting 2 and 3 shots back to back to back. Most seasoned golfers can't hit 3 fucking quality shots like back to back. We were stunned, unbelievable. And with golf, that's the easiest sport to overthink anything. And if you played baseball in your life, you're thinking, all right, I got to time it, and here it comes and power it. With golf, it's a 2-ounce ball. You don't got to kill it. You just got to swing through, keep your eye directly on the ball, and don't watch where it's going, and line it up. And you were doing it, man. Within the second hole, you were hitting, and then that third hole, you threw the club in the air. But that made it all fucking more fun, man. That was a wonderful day, man. I'll always remember that. So I'm anxious too, man. If I do come back down to Kentucky here sooner than later, and you're moving out, and it's gonna suck.
We have the one golf course. Literally, it's 3 minutes from my house. So maybe we'll go up to Charlie Bettner and
looking at 2 of them with houses on the course itself. So
there you go,
man. Which way things go in the future? But I'd rather be a little bit off the grid and making our own still and doing all that shit.
And now's the time to do it. There's plenty of good properties around Louisville, and Shelbyville, and out that way. So
I was thinking, I'm just trying to look. Nothing I've seen for sale between Huber's Farm in Louisville, somewhere in there.
There's a lot of people are moving to Southern Indiana now because one, because of the COVID situation, and 2, just because the property value of what you get for your money, it tends to get more for your money down Southern Indiana, and just across the bridge. So it's like, what the hell? So yeah, it's definitely worth looking into.
Yep. And I like Huber's too. That's all.
And I have a couple of my PT professors live out that way. They had funny enough, they had an alpaca farm, but they love living out that way and just having all the land and just ability to do what the fuck, you want to, and look outside and have a whole fucking few acres of whatever.
That's all I'm looking for, baby. So you never know where HMG headquarters is going to sprout up next. Whatever safe house we got to build, underground bunker, we'll get it done. But we'll be drinking whiskey and having a good time, talking wrestling and politics and conspiracy and any other bullshit we feel like. So hopefully you guys didn't get too bogged down with the holidays with family stress. I know I was feeling a little bit yesterday and had to bug out, and it's weird escaping to the digital space and even talking to strangers you don't know sometimes makes it a little bit more easy to bear. So hopefully you guys had a good one. We'll be here all week. Free media. I got to edit the Hustler Rip Rogers podcast that Man Beast just uploaded. I need a couple thumbnails from you, Man Beast, on some other.
You got it. So if you're not doing anything else, I uploaded the other day just for fun. Earlier this year, I did a sit down interview with Al Snow for a small run show we did for Barn Burner Network, but it's called What Makes You Tick, where we kind of just took an hour and just tried to really get inside the head of Al Snow and what makes him tick. So I reached the archives and got that up on the YouTube page for free. So check that out if y'all get a chance. Put that up over the last week. So just more things, at least to occupy your time if you're not feeling the holidays or just want a reason to get away for a little bit. It's a fun little interview, and definitely check it out if you get a chance.
Rip Rogers reading Wet Ass Pussy. It's all.
Yeah, we got that up there. Yep. Yeah, good stuff. That was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Should we put this out because of the promo he cuts? But I'm like, fuck it. Rip don't care. I don't care. We don't care. It's time to swing the pendulum back to the free speech, and that means all speech, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, don't watch it again. And if you got a problem with it, let me know. I'll refund you 3 times the price you paid to get it, which was 0. But you know, it is something I value, pal, and that's our time together as always. So I'll raise a glass to you, man, Beast. Thank you for all the work you did at Hamin Media Group this year. You're a valued friend, and I love you, brother.
I love you too, man. And especially cheers to all those watching, because couldn't do it without the Hamin Media Army, and looking forward to all the great stuff we have coming the next year. It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. I see 4VKM jumping in the chat room here in the last minutes. Brother, he just released a brand new video, Vince McMahon's War on Christmas. So I might go check that out right now. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I shared it, so I know it's going to be good. So hopefully 4VKM, you're doing all your covert ops for the CIA and whatever you got to do to cover up what's going on in Tennessee. And we know.
I think really what it comes down to is Vince McMahon is just really pissed off because honestly at this state, I think Jesus Christ, baby Jesus is a bigger baby face than anyone on the roster right now, and Vince sees it as competition, so he's hot. He's
over. The big merch seller. And he didn't even have to give him nothing, and they gave him money.
I need to sign him. Fuck.
Maybe Vince should stop selling tickets and just pass the donation basket around at shows, so we'll do all shows for free.
That's right.
But y'all, infidels, it's always free here at hackerhamin.podbean.com, haminmediagroup.podbean.com, Hamin Media Group on YouTube, Ben Hamin, YouTube, and twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. Tip one up, light one up, smoke one up, and have a good holiday, you guys. You put in enough work this year, and we all got our ass kicked in one way or another, but as a group, we're going to come out stronger on top at HMG, Russo brand, the whole 9. So y'all have a good one, and we'll be back with another Hamin's Happy Hour, schmoozing and boozing, getting wasted with the man beast. Y'all.